Here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. How are you? Looks like Thunder Duck was in first this morning. And this is becoming a bit of a race, isn't it? And news from Google on that in a little while. The sun pouring through the window, the early morning sun, messing with the green screen. But I actually quite like it. And until somebody complains, I'm going to leave it that way. How are you this morning? Moved to Portugal Thursday here on the Good Morning Portugal show. I went to IKEA and survived it. I actually got some nice footage for you. I've wrapped up my Portuguese vocabulary learning, 15 minutos, and something to share with you from IKEA this morning. So unlike what you were saying, Thunder, there, where you thought I was in IKEA never to be seen again, and then calling first dibs on my mixer. My body hasn't even cooled down in the middle of IKEA, and you're arguing about who should get my mixer. Honestly, what are you all like? And where's Andrea this morning? I know she likes to be first. More on that too. A message from Google about that, actually, maybe. And so I got up early and did 15 minutes. Mia here tomorrow, of course. Looking forward to that, to find out if she's proud of us or not with our new 15 minutes initiative. I think it's going really well, I must say. Whether we get there or not, the intention is good. Some are overdoing it, some are underdoing it. There are the ups and downs. All of human life is there, isn't it, with how people are approaching this. Just occurred to me, have I got all my ducks in a row? Definitely had an IKEA spanner in the works yesterday, up late, making flat pack furniture. Swapped keys, didn't have the house key, all kinds of adventures yesterday, but here in one piece. But just having that feeling like, is the mic switched on? Did I turn all the lights on? Where are my Dr. Bayards? That sort of thing. Anyway, I hope you'll, well, I don't hope, I know you'll point out any of my shortcomings should they arise this morning. Feliz Quinta a todos. Quinta, there you go. Bom dia. Mais lindo dia para estar vivo. Parabéns to Thunder Duck. And you beat Andrea. It is a competition to be first on, isn't it? Estudei 25 minutos ontem e 15 minutos até agora. So not too bad at all. That's going pretty well, I think, isn't it? A total of 30. 25. 25. So a total of 40 minutes we're looking like there, aren't we, for James Holly? Top of the class. Go to the top of the class and hand out the rubbers. Although, again, this is where I find myself in difficult territory, isn't it, with the language thing. Going to the top of the class and handing out the rubbers in America is different, isn't it, to how it is in England. I should probably say erasers rather than rubbers. But let's see what that brings up this morning. Oh, so difficult with all this lingo stuff, isn't it? Actually, on this matter of being first then, what's come in from Google, Google is so advanced now that you can actually search into the future. And as well as you've done this morning, Thunder, to be first on the screen by about, I think you were there at 9:15, possibly. 9:15. Future traveling. And I've got more to say about that in just a moment. 7:45, I think you were there this morning. Andrea will be gnashing her teeth thinking, how can I improve on this? You don't really need to, because Google has sent me, I've done a search on Google Future where you can search into the future with their internet technology, perhaps, maybe, I don't know. And look, bom dia a todos, mais dia pareto para ela em Portugal. So the Portuguese is coming on nicely on that screenshot. Look at that. Feliz Natal 2027. So she's beaten everybody by, 6 years plus there. So well done, Andrea, for being the first to post for Christmas 2027. That's extraordinary. And well done, Google, on that very, very excellent bit of kit there. Okay, who else is here? Who else has done their 15? Matty, of course. Bom dia, alegria a todos. Amsterdam com blue sky this morning. Céu azul. Desejo a todos uma grande quinta-feira e que fim de semana seja próximo. So yeah, the weekend coming up, fim de semana, of course. So lots of beautiful greetings there, as usual, from Matty, who happily just simply puts in the comments there. 15. Andrea, yes, Andrea. What's the date stamp on that one then? 807, I think. Not too bad, but yeah, Thunder, 7:46. Not bad at all there. Has anyone set their alarm yet to be first, I wonder? Look at this sleeping in this morning, Andrea. Getting a bit of ribbing there as well. Talking of rubbers and ribbing. James Holly, lol, no, I don't sleep in. I was fixing the diesel heater. The cat pulled the wire off the battery. This is life on the road. That is a lovely vignette of life on the road, isn't it? And Renaissance woman, Andrea, a woman who can stand upside down on a paddleboard, can fish and can fix the diesel heater after the cat, which coincidentally is on tour in the camper van, has pulled the wire off the battery. That is why I'm reluctant to have a cat, you see. It's enough trouble with Jimmy Choo and Peggy Poo. Can you imagine that? A cat pulling the wires off the batteries and stuff around the house as well. But amazing, Andrea. You're incredible. Andrea Hogan, did you see the groundhog this morning? Asks Eusebio. And yes, look, he's teasing us. Who is that in the picture? Before we get to that, who is that in the profile? That is not Eusebio himself. MCWT. MCWT live and direct for Little Portugal in London this morning. Who is that in the profile pic on YouTube? Really loving Professor Eusebio's history lessons on this day in Portugal and notable figures. There's one right there. I don't know who that is, in all honesty. I'm looking forward to finding out. However, desculpa, eu só falo pouco de português. Falo English, my most used sentence after 1 and 2 word greetings. Yes. I would like to say we've all been there, and I am still there, James. It's a good one to learn, though, because it shows you are making an effort, and people will say, no faz mal, and, some might help you. Some might say, si, falo English. So that's a really good tactic, worth copying and pasting that to your little book that you carry around with you, if you carry around a little book, because, of course, writing things down does help. And we'll find out more things that help. Build vocabulary, build grammar, build your grasp of the Portuguese language with Mia, who's with us tomorrow, this morning's guest. And what I meant to do is copy to the clipboard the invitation, just in case he hasn't got it. And we'll send that over to our dear friend Vitor this morning, who is going to be joining us probably maybe after the school run. People have got other things to do, would you believe, in the world. And so I'm just sending him the link to join us on the show. He's in Ponta de Lima. Now, I like to make a big deal of the north of Portugal, because like central Portugal, but more so, it is underrated. It is seriously underrated. You'll see that we have Mark Rigby occasionally from Povoa de Varzim. We have Rebel Mama Khadija with us, of course, from quite regularly these days. And these are people who are great proponents of the north of Portugal. Prosecco Peggy, dear old Prosecco Peggy, she was in Braga when she first arrived in Portugal and loved it, but until the Algarve won her heart. So people do love the north, but not in great number. So we'll find out more about that from Vitor today. And of course, we forgot to talk about the Condé Nast Traveller accolade that was given to Portugal. So we'll talk about, if we get a chance, talk about that in just a moment as well, after we've said a few hellos. So Jean's here as well. Amazing that you join us at your time of day, Jean. Hola todos, bom dia. 15, well done, more than 15 plus there. Kings, how would you say that in Portuguese then? Was it Kings extra? It's sneaking in a bit of an English word there, because that's always nice, isn't it, when the Portuguese are using an English word like burger, which makes it nice and easy. But how would we say that, Portuguese folks? 15 plus, if you don't mind, or more than. I see, yeah, mais, 15 mais, possibly. Andrea, I did not see a groundhog, did not know they were here. Oh, I see. So are they groundhogs? That's another thing we can ask Vitor in a moment. And this, a hog on the ground doesn't count. That sounds like a good old-fashioned American phrase. He'll tell us more about that, won't he? I'm sure. The man, of course, who introduced us, as you can see from his YouTube profile pic there, to the banana slug, the great emblem of the Good Morning Portugal show currently. We probably need to do something about that. It used to be the cockerel that you can't see, that is obliterated by sunlight this morning. He shows his face through the sun, doesn't he, as the show progresses. It's quite a nice thing to see. It's like a digital sundial, really. Bon dia from Tom as well. What were you doing, Tom, while Andrea was very impressively reconnecting the diesel heater? Do you all have your sort of different jobs there? You, Andrea, the turtle, the cat. Does everyone have a? Because that's how to make an enterprise of that kind, like a ship. Running a ship, everybody needs to know what they do, don't they? So they're not tripping over each other, and there's efficiency. So your ship shape and Bristol fashion, as I think the British Navy say. Bon dia from you anyway, and to you, Tom. Good morning, Carl and Vitor. Good morning, everyone. Vitor here soon. Deagle's here as well. Bon dia, Carl. Seen 50 minutes. Very wet overnight. Few more days of heavy rain, looking like a dry, foggy, frosty November. Now, looking out of my window, and I'd like to say it's a clear blue sky. It's not. Quite a few of the old aviation trails in the sky. A bit of cloud. It's very mild. Slight bite in the air, but I would say mild for my experience, my lifelong experience of October. I'm imagining it's a lot colder than this. I was out with the dogs this morning, doing a bit of intermittent, doing a bit of the old fartlek this morning. Yes, don't giggle. Ian, Coach Turner. I don't know if my other colleagues in the Grey Watch, not the Bay Watch, working our way towards Bay Watch status. Of course, one day remaking the video on the Algarve shores, most likely. But we've been learning how to walk this way, as Run DMC and Aerosmith famously said. After walking a certain way for 50 plus years, it's quite difficult to suddenly consciously and try and embed it unconsciously, a new way of walking. Coach Turner has shown us a new way to walk more efficiently, and then do sudden bursts. And I think I must be developed. If they didn't think of me as an eccentric Englishman in the neighborhood already, they will now, because every now and then I'm just walking along with the dogs quite nicely, and he's walking a bit funny. That guy's walking a bit funny. And then he suddenly bursts into walking really fast for 10 or 20 or 30 steps. I wonder what they think. Dois, tres from James this morning. What is that? It's a hog. And then an dois, tres. Why is that, James? Please explain. Jim's here. And, cool as ever, Jim. Look at him. Hola, bon dia. 15. Simple as. Thank you, Jim, for that. Today in Portuguese history. Okay. Thank you, Eusebio, Professor. 1856, first railway in Portugal was opened. That's exciting. That's very exciting. I do love the railways of Portugal. It ran between Lisbon and Carregado, now referred to as the Linha do Norte. We've got to do another trip, everybody. The Linha do Norte is amazing. It was extended to Porto in 1877. And I must say, in my trips to Porto, to the other IKEA, I remember making a little video of an old station. Was it for sale, or was I just hoping it was for sale? But there's a really interesting little line of accommodation, possible home purchase. Some of the old disused station buildings are wonderful. You got to enjoy living next to a railway line, of course, although some of them may be disused by now. So that's an interesting line of thought. Pardon the pun, but that's brilliant. 1856. First railway in Portugal was opened on this, the 28 Outubro, and that would have been 1856, which I'm not going to say in Portuguese right now. How do you say that, Eusebio, 1856? Can we have a phonetic on that, please? Or, a grammatical approach to that. 1856, is that how you would say it? I wonder. James, my kids tell me I tell great dad jokes. They do this by groaning. Yes, of course, that should be the global, universal response to a good dad joke. Unlike, prolonged groaning and moaning, groaning, why'd you have to do that? And it's all very well, James, telling us that, but you can't say that and not leave us one as well, a dad joke that is. So please share with us one of your best, if you don't mind. We're not looking for originality. That is not the idea with dad jokes, is it? We're looking for something we can groan about this morning. So please share with us one of your classics from your dad joke canon. Keynes Matty, you're rocking memorized, making us all look bad. So is he really streaking ahead there? Typical German, wanted to get all their clothes off. What is it with you Germans and being naked? But yes, streaking ahead there. It says Francis. I say that based on what Francis is saying there. So Matty, Good job. Well done. Thank you for starting the Memorize Good Morning Portugal group. And do know others that it's available. All the help we can get learning the Portuguese language, right? And I have my contribution to that this morning. Well, Mrs. M's contribution. I'll put a little video together, which I rather like. Bon dia a todos, says Francis as well. And hope you are all well. So como estás? To everybody here as well. As long as the cat didn't go woof, that's good. Yes, that would be quite a surprise, wouldn't it? But I guess touching the battery wires is possible. Yeah, you could have a film script on your hand there, couldn't you? How a cat became a dog by messing with the wires on the battery and then ran into the Portuguese outback. It has the sort of similar suspense and thrilling combo there to a Jurassic movie, doesn't it? Very good. I'll make a note of that. Hold on. And Joao F is here. Thank you so much for your kind words, Joao F. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for your correspondence. It means a lot to me. Bom dia a todos. Vejo que acordarão cheios de energia e a falar em português logo cedo. He's lost me already. Pelos vistos, já não precisam que vos deem uma frase nova para traduzir. So I think he's working on the phrases to try with us here in his efforts to help us, and we appreciate it. Goodness only knows. Would this sentence be too long to work on? No! Get to work on it now, everybody. Let's find out what that means. It ain't nothing to it but to do it. I mean, that is such good advice, isn't it? Just do it. So yes, please. James Holly, I'm sure with some good learning investment, there'll be more sentences used. Wishing you the best with learning. You can do it. And isn't it lovely how he says that? The encouraging aspect of learning Portuguese here on the Good Morning Portugal show. That would be Francis in Cape Town this morning. What's that weather like over there, Francis? Bom dia, João Ferreira. Somos juntos aqui from Rebel Mama. Talking about you earlier on. Talvez. So maybe, what? Maybe a bit too complicated, perhaps, then, that sentence there. Francis, bom dia. Well, no barking, but he does play fetch. You got some characters, haven't you, there? The turtle and the cat, I'm sure. Can you remind us of their names, please? And it's been a while since we've had pictures, folks. Profile pic is José Saramago. Oh, okay. That name comes up. Yes, remember him in The Golden Gun. Or was it opposite, I think, Roger Moore? Writer, Three Nipples, right? Writer, anarcho-communist, owner of Three Nipples, atheist, and recipient of the 1998 Nobel Prize for Literature. Now, some other correspondence on Facebook about, what did I put a meme up about, so many people imagining the apocalypse. Why don't we imagine heaven on earth? And Steve wrote in to say he was reading Saramago, and in one of his books, it details the conversation between, I think, God, Jesus, and the devil, right, which would make for a great book. So yes, there, I know it's not Scaramanga, it is Saramago. Very good. Zay, is it okay when you don't know, as you say, to call them Zay like that, to Eusebia? But José Saramago, very good. 1998 Nobel Prize winner for literature. Very good. So yes, I think Francis thinks it's worth a try. Joao F. If it's too long, we'll only find out by giving it a shot. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And a few literal shout outs. We've taken shout outs to a new level, haven't we? The only place on the internet where capital letters aren't seen as a rudeness. I mean, they might be by some until they understand the context here. That is a man cave greeting. And that's what we like to see. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, Thunderduck, it was okay. I wonder if Carl was able to find his way out of IKEA. If not, I called dibs on his mixer. Unbelievable. What else do you want? Oh, yes. Estamos, not sure why estar is giving me trouble when using it, except when estou. I will work on it. Yes, we all will, won't we? Carl, 8:33 in Belfast, and you're not on. Clocks don't change. And you're not on. Clocks don't change till the weekend. I see. Okay. Yeah. Do you know, the reason for that was I was post-producing some video. I was tinkering about, and and then I wasn't quite sure if I got everything sorted out. I went to go live, and StreamYard, or Farmyard, as Pete Bleach calls it, told me I didn't have enough space in the cloud to record the show. Which would have been difficult because I'll record the show and take the audio section and put it on the podcast, okay, which unfortunately isn't available on Spotify at the moment, but available on lots of other platforms if you would prefer it in your ears. Pam, good morning to you, Pam. And yes, that reminds me, Pam, you shared something with me that I think we should share probably after Vitor has been here, but you've shared with me, thought you might like this to talk about the new iVoucher scheme to save money on petrol. Now, I think many people would like to save money on petrol. So what I'll do is I'll put the link for that, as you've suggested, Pam, in the comments. Anybody who is in Portugal and wants to save money on petrol, Finance Minister presents temporary discount on fuel prices to be paid through the iVoucher program. So there's no such thing as a free lunch. I imagine they're going to capture all that data. That's too cynical, isn't it? Maybe it is a free lunch. Maybe it is a good petrol discount, but the details are now in the comments for you. And you know what? Talking of the comments, I haven't even got to the point where the show has started yet. So let's start ignoring the ats. It's the moment where we ignore the ats. They are personal messages. I will have a little nib at those and see what's going on. Coffee incoming from Mrs. M. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. And in Portuguese?
Bom dia.
Hola, bom dia a todos. She's very good. She's actually a better Portuguese speaker than me, and I have a video to prove it. Check this out now. Okay, I'm gonna have a sip. She's a better French speaker than me. It is a language of love. I still do my best when I speak to her in French in the bedroom. I'm going to play the video for you now and go to the bedroom. This video is long enough for that purpose. I'm going to play you the video she made last night while I have a little sip on my coffee. Check this out, and I will gather myself whilst this is on. Here we go. So, as you can see, we are in IKEA in just outside Lisbon, Loures. I made it. Meatballs have been consumed, and when I was ordering, I wanted to know what one of each was. Mrs. M, what's one of each in Portuguese?
Uma de cada.
So, uma de cada, is that right?
Uma de
Thank you very much. So you never need to struggle in a cake shop again, right?
No,
one of
exactly.
each, uma de cada.
It's
Very.
like buying things for kids, like when you're buying ice cream or cakes or sweets and things. It's just easier to say one of each.
Probably one of the most useful Portuguese phrases ever then. Uma de cada. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. De nada.
And off we go into the belly of IKEA. I think a typical, she just was with me watching that video there. Oh, look, my face is so round these days, or whatever it was she said. Like, you know, I'm thinking, isn't she amazing? Isn't she beautiful? And isn't that great how she came up with that comment there? Pass my cup. Housekeeping, live housekeeping as we pass your cup. Yeah, and she, does my face look fat in that video? Bye. Wasn't that great? So, uma de cada there. However, as you saw in the video, is it uma de cada or da cada? Does it depend on what you're talking about? I can ask Mia that, or that mystery might be solved this morning. Okay, so 2,000 comments already. Thank you very much for that. Let's scroll back through. We are awaiting the excellent gentleman who is Vitor Costa, who will be joining us. Our man in the north is what I call him. He knows a thing or two about real estate up there. And he may well do a little bit of a comparison on different types of property to give you an idea. But any questions you've got about the north of Portugal, well, actually, Portuguese culture, you know, he will answer questions about the language and the culture as well, which is great. So let's catch up with a few of your wonderful hellos this morning. And I'm going to ignore the ats, okay? So bear that in mind. And bon dia from Pamela, of course. And thank you for that voucher idea. Owen is here as well. Bon dia. Gente linda. Isn't that beautiful, people? Love that. Gumper tuning in. Are we going with that? Are we Gumpers? The Good Morning Portugal people. As I said, it's better than Gimpers. Gumper. It just sounds like Gumby, doesn't it? And some of you will know that reference, Gumby. Gumpers. You know, people who've lost their teeth or something. I don't know. Nice one. I'm doing an act. Got to do a plan before the kids wake up in the morning, because once they're up, there's no chance. Yes, good strategy. Victoria, how are you doing with the funny walk? Check out the playlist this morning. Coach Turner is urging us to walk this way. Hola, bon dia a todos from sunny Praia de Rocha. We'll be trekking out to do the errands today before an upcoming 6 days of forecasted rain. Yes, so our party plans this weekend, birthday party plans, I think we're indoors carving pumpkins and not on the beach at San Martino de Porto. Let's see. Mark is here as well. Bon dia to you, Mark. How are you, mate? And Stephen as well. Bon dia. Good morning, gentlemen. Did you say you lost your keys in a bowl in IKEA? No, I did not say that. And I do not have pampas grass outside my house. Or No, I don't have pampas grass outside my house. There is a picture of me with pampas grass outside my house, but we don't actually grow it. We do not want to convey. I'm having enough problems with my funny walk and my fartlek. Practice in the neighborhood, and people thinking I'm a bit weird. But what did happen, what some of you may have seen, is that, I record these meditations. I've been doing a daily meditation and recording it live. But it is the most boring live stream ever, because obviously just sitting there quietly. It's the beginning bit that's the important bit, and then people can stay or not stay, depending on whether they're finding the technique useful. But I did it in live in IKEA yesterday. And what I love so much about Portugal and Portuguese people is I sat there meditating on one of the sofas, and I was recording it. And nobody batted an eyelid. And it sort of moved me to say, that's what I love about this country. If you're just minding your own business and not causing any harm to anybody, you're good, aren't you? I think that's true. And so I was able to sit there, and I was thinking, if I was doing this in UK, I would be moved on. You can't sit on the sofas, and you can't be acting weird either. You can't be recording meditation videos. And I was going to say, this is not the consumer you're looking for, and see if I could do a Jedi mind trick if anyone challenged me. But nobody challenged me. I was just sat there minding my own business, adding to the positive vibes of the world, you might say. And all was well. Available now on YouTube. Woo! You had me a bit worried with handing out rubbers. Now I realize, yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, I gave out that honor, didn't I? Go to the top of the class. This was something my dad used to say. I think he probably used to say, hand out the inkwells. People used to hand out ink or inkwells or quills or something, didn't they? Back in the day. But yes, hand out the erasers, okay, for the Americans. And that is from Stan de la San Antone. Some people will be very glad to hear that's such a responsible approach to family planning, going to the top of the class and handing out the rubbers. Yes, it's very busy. What is modern life? And Rebel Mama, so reformado now, alarm clock, nada. What is that, Mike? Retired. I'm retired now, so no alarm clock. Cats are great. Cats are great. Okay. I love cats. They taste like chicken. Please don't say things like that. Kings mais kings. Very good. Yeah, let's see if we can move on without anyone needing to respond to Thunderduck's silly comment there. Don't try this at home. Hi, everyone. There are so many usual names showing up on this show that it's literally impossible for me to say hello to each one of you individually. Yes, please. Can we not have more viewers? Because it's making... It's making life really difficult here. Should we see if there's a feature on YouTube so that we can limit it to, I don't know, what do you think is ideal? I know a village, what was it? The book Sapiens. The ideal number for people apparently is about 100. Is it 150? So that you can begin to identify people. And you see this, don't you, in village life? You know him. You don't really talk to him, but you know him. You know that one, and you talk to that one. And you build a kind of, what would it be called? Like a familial community ecosystem, psychologically and spiritually, don't you, with the people around you, and you know who you can rely on. And then when it gets beyond that, that's when human beings start to struggle. I think it's the ideal community beyond the family. The extended family is the extended community of about 150. So should we tie it down? Should we make it a maximum of 150 people? And after that, no one else can come in the mornings. Make it easy for me and for Joao. So it's literally impossible for him to say hello to each one of you individually. But I love seeing you all here. That's what I think as well. What? Altomino, represent! Telvej, I am happy with less Americans than tourists. Yeah, I know. It's a typical. What is that? It's like the expat conundrum, isn't it? I love it here, but I don't want any more expats here. Very interesting. Robert Vinkel, yes, bon dia from an expat living in Provence, France. And I was thinking about you so much, not going to IKEA today. You have come up. So I was even going to make a meme, marked safe from going to IKEA. I had a lovely day. Robert, it's all about attitude. It's all about preparation. You have to be like a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout before you go in there. And I have to say, I'm really, even little things like this. I've just got a €3 mobile stand. It's changed my life. These little things, and me utensil pot washing up on the by the sink there from IKEA. You look around the house, my phone charger from IKEA. Now, on the one hand, you're thinking it's like communism. This is what is it? Household communism. Everyone's got the same stuff, and there's a metal cabinet everywhere I look. But I've got to hand it to them. They do it so well. They really do it well, I think. And dad joke for you. I know. I mean, I was going to apologise for repeating a joke, but if it's a dad joke, it's all part of the thing, isn't it? It's all part of the shtick. The CEO of IKEA has been made Prime Minister of Sweden, and he's still putting together his cabinet. Hey, okay. So, Robert, are you like my father-in-law? Happy birthday, Alan, by the way, 75 yesterday. Never ever been in his 75 years to IKEA. And I think he might have a bit of a thing about it. You know, you get so far. It's like, I don't think I'll ever watch Game of Thrones. And, you know, there are other things where I think, well, now it's too late. I'm not even going to bother. Robert, do you think you will never set foot in an IKEA? And I would say you are missing out on something quite good. Somebody messaged me. I think they saw my meditation from IKEA. And they were saying it is I don't know if maybe they were joking now thinking about it, but it was like a cultural icon, or a place that contributed to culture rather than took something away from it. You know, I know it's mass production. I know it's consumerism on the one level, but my goodness, the food was good, catering on that scale, and the furniture and the bits and their style. I'm loving the pinks and greys of the season as well. Beautifully done, IKEA. For me, all is forgiven, and all the sort of the kind of Winkle-esque feelings I had evaporated yesterday, even after 5 hours in there. My drop sentence of the day: "Oi soto un pom." Now, why is he laughing? What does that mean? You need to translate that. Woo! Bon dia, todos. Hope you're all well and enjoying Thursday. Heading back home after a great break in Bath and looking forward to recording the next module of Growing Old Disgracefully. And I don't know if you were here, Ian, and how you're contributing towards my eccentricity in the neighbourhood, where I suddenly burst into faster walking and have a slightly different spring in my step. I'm lighter on my feet. And Andy Gilchrist is here. And I was thinking yesterday as well, nicknames are needed for people here, aren't they? And I don't know why I thought of that when I saw your name. Gilchrist, see me after class. Tip do dia, that's a good feature. For UK driving licenses and the exchange thereof, ask the DVLA, right? Or is it the DVSA now, for a certificate of license authority. Thank you for that. These things are very precious. We've heard from Vitor this morning. He is running a little bit late. He will be with us to talk about Northern Portugal. Hoy pero logo existo. Now, yes, I'm uncomfortable with the word pedo in a sentence, but I'm sure there's a context to that. Please explain, Thunder and James. Expats Portugal. Hi, Carl. Andrew has a very particular set of skills she acquired over a very long career, skills that impressed me very much. I can see that. Makes complete sense. And I like what you've done there, Tom. Very considerate at Expats Portugal. You see, I can see that's for me. Since she can fix anything she's in charge of, the battery, solar, wiring, plumbing, I can fix things too, but she's more manual with bunny ears than I am. Are you the cerebral part of the partnership there? You know, would you be wondering about why do we have a diesel heater? And meanwhile, she's rolled up her sleeves and she's getting on with it. I didn't notice, James. I'm so sorry. The groundhog is a uniquely American thing. Now, in Groundhog Day, of course, was a contribution to global culture and very funny too. Got to love the bill, haven't you? But I'd missed that joke. A hog on the ground is whatever it was you said. I think we need a more universally themed dad joke, if you don't mind me saying so. 1856. Okay, so mil. There we go. That's how you say 1856, everybody. Thank you very much for responding there, Professor. And there we go. That's why I was thinking of nicknames yesterday. I was thinking, what can I call Eusebio? He calls himself MCWT, and we know him as Eusebio as well, coming from the little Portugal of London. But he's the professor, isn't he? Let's call him Prof. Prof. Eusebio, 1856. Thank you very much. There you go. Make a note of that, everybody. Mental or actual. Let's scroll through. Let's see if we can catch up. We'll be lucky. Jose Manuel da Costa Diogo. Hello. Good morning to all from and still in England with a slight saudade there. But lots of love to you, mate, over there in me beloved Blighty. Yesterday started at 30 degrees centigrade and by afternoon dropped 12 points. Wow. And an unexpected thunder downpour just because I had decided to take the bike to work. Yes. Why they call it the Mother City. Today, cloudy and cool. That mother, not in a good way there. How much is petrol there now? Now, I never, in all my driving career, in all my fiscal career, with my terrible attention to that kind of detail, I've never known what the price of petrol is ever in my life. Because the way I see it is I need some and I need to go and get some. And I buy it in increments of, sometimes in my life, £5 of petrol. There was a time when I put £5 of diesel in, and I should have put £5 worth of petrol. That was a bad day. And there have been times, haven't we all had times like that in our lives? And then, so I do increments. And I never look at the price. Never. And you can call me, what could you call me? A financial flibbity gibbet. And actually, I've come to a time in my life when I do need to be a bit more careful about such matters, because I think it's useful to be so. But you're asking the wrong person at the moment, Francis. Somebody else will help you with that. And Louise is here. How are you doing? 8:30. Bon dia. Sorry, I've missed a few shows. Have you gone to 8 a.m. start already? No, 8:30 is when we start. We came to a happy compromise. How happy that is for people, I don't know. Vitor, not too happy about it. He's running late. He'll be with us soon. Get a room, Munson. I know. She loves it when I talk to her in a French accent and chuck in a bit of Portuguese as well. Ti amo. Louise, Amote, I beg your pardon, Amote. Louisa looks so much like Millie in that video. Oh, yes, Minnie. William Ogilby, bon dia Carl from bon dia Carl and all from an overcast Coleraine there. Expats Portugal is our little ray of sunshine in the drab mornings here on the north coast of Ireland. Have a lovely day all. Well, it's so kind of you to say so. You are my sunbeams. Is that patronizing enough? I don't mean it like that, honestly. I really don't. Gumpers. I think we're going with that, aren't we? So we're going to have nicknames. That is our collective nickname. The Gumpers are here, everybody. It's not attractive, but it's sticking. It's sticking, isn't it? It's sticking like a banana slug to a Californian redwood. Gumpers. Made me think of Monty Python. Yes, Ministry of Funny Walks. Gumbies, of course. I think Gumbies are also... which I connect with Gumpers, I connected with Monty Python as well. Oh dear. Yes. Look, you started it, but that's Faulty Towers. Yes, indeed, Matty. I booked a week ago a test drive of the Toyota GR Yaris. Move your Yaris yesterday. I hope the test drive didn't cost you 48,000 euros for 3 p.m. The boss was out for lunch. In the car, so I left at 3:40 without a drive. That is very poor customer service. Perhaps Vitor Costa can answer on behalf of his countrymen with that complaint, Rugby Colin. That's not brilliant customer service. And the thing is, Vitor is at the other end of customer service, and that's why I love this guy. Let's bring him onto the screen now. One of the most
Hello.
Hey, Vitor, how are you? ¿Cómo estás?
I'm terrible. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty terrible too. Thank you very much. Why, Vitor?
Oh, that's despicable. Just kidding. How are things going then? What did I miss?
I thought you might be kidding, and I think you're pretty good for a dad joke too, even at your tender age. So you missed loads, but that's all right. It's in the past now. We'll let it go.
Indeed, indeed. I like focusing on the future. Learn from the past.
Yes. This is why I like this guy. So you'll see him on Facebook. Posting up pithy insights and positivity all day long, pretty much on Facebook, and customer service. So this is one extreme. So he booked a test of the Toyota Yaris. That's a 48,000 euro car, and when he went there for 3 o'clock, the boss was out for lunch in the car, so it might have come back smelling of lunch as well. And he left without the test drive at 40 minutes past 3. Now you, on the other hand, are one of the most helpful people I've ever encountered or come across or had the pleasure to meet in Portugal. You're in the real estate business, but in a way, you're in a kind of helping people business, aren't you? How would you characterize yourself? Please introduce yourself to us.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been a very personal development I've been having that's been growing very fast in the last year or two. And, taking all of these sales trainings from people like Grant Cardone, Zig Ziglar, the greats.
Oh, yes.
The more I train, the more I start also realizing how much of society has this what's in it for me mentality, if that makes sense. Nobody is trained in service. Nobody is trained in selling and servicing the customer. And since it had such an impact on me, I decided, no, I'm going to be the exact opposite. I'm going to be the person where if someone has a problem, I'll do everything I can to at least guide them in the right direction. And you were mentioning that as soon as I joined, you were mentioning poor customer service. I have an excellent example that happened to me the other day, like
Go on.
about 2 or 3 months ago. So I was leaving, the supermarket, right? And they have these small kiosks at the exit, with jewelry and all of those things. And if you notice, I still have bare wrists,
Oh yeah.
which means that my next investment is going to be a watch, right? I want to have my first fancy watch, just I can feel great and have a new accessory. And so I was leaving and I noticed that they have watches, and I'm like, oh, hey, you guys have watches. Which one do you think will look good on me? And the girl was like, I don't know. You're the one who knows your tastes.
Oh, ouch.
And it made me think, like, what's the difference in hiring people to be there at customer service
Yes.
and having just a machine with watch number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? You put in your card, you press the number, and it comes out, right?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
so right now my focus is mostly real estate, right? And particularly expats. Like since we did our last show, I've gotten quite a few people who contacted me through you, so thank you for that as well.
My pleasure.
um,
My pleasure. It's quite right
i
too.
spent I spent like the whole month just sorting out issues to get them internet, because it kept getting canceled. I have like a commercial agent that was helping me as well. It kept getting canceled, rescheduling, cancel, rescheduling. Nobody would call. All of this mess. Basically, I don't think they had optic fiber there, so they would cancel because it wouldn't work without telling me, and all
Yeah,
kinds
it
of mess. But finally, I got internet there. And when they arrive, which apparently they will be here in December, everything will be ready to go for them.
Oh, I bet you. What a godsend! Worth your weight in gold in a situation like that, because of course, the internet is so important to people now, isn't it? That you sort something out like that for people in advance of them being here is superb. So well done on that. So tell us more about your real estate activities, because as I always say about the north of Portugal, there is an unrealized treasure. In the north. I
Yes.
mean, we can say this about Portugal in general, can't you? What a treasure we have the pleasure of knowing. Madame Portugal, if I may call her that. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. And she's a mysterious mistress who reveals herself very slowly to you. The more respectful and pleased you are, the more she seems to show you. I don't know if this
Yes.
is the right analogy. But then in the north, there's kind of loads of mystery that people have barely scratched the surface of. What do you say about that? And why has that occurred, do you think?
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting point, because the last few weeks I've felt that in my skin,
Okay.
because we had a big real estate event in Lisbon.
Oh,
The
yeah.
only time I've been in Lisbon was when I was like 13 years old, and I was there with the Boy Scouts to go to the zoo. And so I got to spend a week there, right? I
Yeah.
actually spent a few days at a colleague's home, and another night at an Airbnb. And it not only made me have more respect and appreciate living here in the north, but
Oh, really?
also it made me appreciate the qualities of living in a place like Lisbon, and why would someone like living there. So it helped me have a new view of my country. And
Beautiful.
it was a really interesting experience, because there, driving is a mess. If you look at the map, the roads, it looks like somebody grabbed a bunch of pasta, threw it at a piece of wall, and they're like, okay, that's how you're going to design our roads. But
Yes.
but if you live there, it's not a big problem, because for like 40 euros, you can buy a pass, and you can use the metro, the bus, the trains. I think it's like 100 kilometers in area where you can go, and you can just go wherever. They have this app called Move It. It's like, okay, I'm
Yes.
here. I want to go to this area. They're like, okay, you grab a bus, the bus 632 from here to here, then you grab a metro to here, and then a train to there. Or you can take another bus that takes you like half an hour that goes directly, blah, blah, blah. And also, more recently, we also had an event in the Vila Real, also here very far in the north, but, more to the east side. And I went there, and it was also, it's like the more I experience Portugal, and being on real estate is allowing me or giving me an excuse, let's say, to travel more. It's
Fantastic.
like I travel an hour or two, and it's like I'm in a completely different place, completely different environment. For example, Vila Real, there's a lot of mountains. It's way more mountains than it has here, right? And sorry, the headphones. And and also they had this like really, really long tunnel that goes in a straight line for like 3 minutes. And it was also interesting, but that's a side note. And here in the north,
you can't move on from that, because that is exciting, isn't it? Even for the little lad in all of us who likes driving, going through a tunnel for 3 minutes is very exciting. So let's not gloss over that. That's Villarreal, right?
Yeah, Villarreal, yes, exactly. And the best part is in one of the directions, like the exit, like before you exit, you actually go down a little bit. So until you're right at the exit, you don't know where you're coming out.
Yes. That is quite extraordinary, and one of many tunnels in Portugal as well, of course, and perhaps more in the north, because I know you have the mountainous territory there.
Yes.
And of course, that produces a special kind of architecture. At Braga, which somebody is mentioning in the comments already, you have that most incredible football stadium, don't you? That's pretty much built on the side of a mountain.
Yes, I have performed there one time, actually.
Performed there? What? Not as a footballer?
When I was in college, I belonged to those musical groups from the university, right?
Oh yeah.
And we went there to do like a halftime show. Performance thing to also do a bit of publicity, and it was actually really fun because because of the acoustics, we weren't actually going to be playing, right? It was a recording that would be playing on the speakers. And so the the higher ups, I guess, I was still, let's say, a freshman at the group. I hadn't been promoted yet, and all of the other ones, they were like the guys from the guitar grabbed the cello, and they all switched around. Nobody knew how to play the instruments because they weren't going to be playing, and so they were all just pretending. So it's fun.
Excellent. And so you got to perform in front of thousands of people there at the Braga football ground.
Yeah, I'm not sure if thousands is the right word. I actually don't remember very well.
No, it's all a blur when your rock and roll career. Amazing.
Yeah. For all intents and purposes, I consider that I only started living like 3 years from now, or rather 3 years ago, because that's when I finally started realizing what would make sense for me and my life. And it's kind of what I'm doing now, helping people. Real estate at the moment is the vehicle where I feel like I can help people the most.
Yeah.
And who knows where I'll go from here. I do believe real estate will always be part of me from now on. But sales is also very strong. I were talking about the customer service. One thing I want to do eventually is also go to businesses, offer training to people and to the staff, like how to greet the customer, how to help them, how to figure out what they need, and actually, help everybody. Because I think there's this idea, be it real estate, be it anything else, where who killed the sale?
I think that's a book. Jerry's here, everybody, and Jerry will be with us on Tuesday, next Tuesday. We on the first Tuesday of every month, we're gonna bring the team to you, so you get to meet more of the team of Expats Portugal. So really looking forward to that. But I suspect Jerry's talking about a book there about customer service, something that I think Jerry appreciates. We all do.
I don't know. I should probably read that as well.
He may well say more on that, but that sounds very profound. I mean, to have a breakthrough like that, Vitor, in 3 years ago, and to realize what you want to do for the rest of your life. And I can see that you are truly passionate about it. And I think you'll have a great career ahead of you. And what a great time to be in real estate in Portugal. It's the kind of the road is rising to meet your feet as well, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And, on a personal level, there also have been big changes. I'm now part of Nuno Venceslau luxury real estate team, which honestly, I feel like since I started working on real estate, I have been looking for a good mentor. And I don't mean just an agent that sold a lot of homes, but
Yes.
someone who is really professional and really has that thing to go to 300% where everybody would have given up at 110, if you know what I
Yes.
mean, right?
I do understand that.
And
I do understand that. And arguably it's needed, isn't it, in the industry in Portugal?
yes,
It's going to help a great deal if there if there's a slightly different ethic at work in the real
yes,
estate industry. And this is not to belittle or be negative. I mean, I understand why the industry is like it is. I mean, it's a kind of economic situation, isn't it, whereby people operate in a certain way. But that said, there's also room for growth. There are areas for improvement, and the people who make
yes,
those improvements are going to do really well, I think, because especially with the expats, because the expats are coming with different sorts of expectations, and of course, part of
yes,
customer service is understanding your customers' needs, and they are very different. I
yes,
think the way people buy
yes,
houses who are Portuguese and the way expats buy them can be very different, as I'm sure you've learned over the last little while. Look, we've been told off by Rebel Mama. Stop talking about the North, please, except for visiting. It's not here, people. Oh, it's not hot here, people. Okay. See, she lives there and she doesn't want any more expats being there. The North isn't for everyone. Please, tourists, welcome. All right, message
yes,
received
yes.
loud and clear. And yet, one of the unselling points Rebel Mama is touching upon there, because Brian, Cindy Harding are here at Jeff. This is a private conversation they're having, but I'm going to jump into this because, look, well, we were just going to look at in Braga, but are not looking forward to cold and rainy for our first 4 months here. Now, this is a criticism of the North, isn't it? I mean, relatively speaking, it's quite warm as far as I'm concerned, but it can get a bit of cold,
Yeah.
a bit cold and
Again,
damp in the winter.
it goes back to that thing of understanding the customer's needs, right?
Yes.
Because personally, I don't like the heat very much, so the North is ideal for me.
Yes.
But I do know that probably one of the most known areas in Portugal besides Lisbon is the Algarve area because it's warmer. I think there are areas there where almost all of the residents are British. You know what I mean? But personally, yeah, exactly. But personally, it doesn't attract me as much. Even here in the north, yes, Braga is a little bit colder. But still, we rarely, if ever, go below zero in terms of temperature. So if we talk cold, might seem a bit relative because if you're coming from Canada, it's probably summer all day here. I don't know. I've never been to Canada. If there's any Canadians here, feel free to correct me.
I have heard Canadians say this. That's not winter. What are you talking about? I think
exactly.
The important thing is preparation, though, and I want to know from you how Portuguese people approach the winter in Braga. I mean, my experience so far in central Portugal and possibly here on the Silver Coast as well is they just don't talk about it. It's like pretend it's not happening. Whereas if you get proper cold, like you might do, by Portuguese standards in the north, I mean, what are people doing? Have they built their houses appropriately for the winter? Do you wear lots of layers and wool? How are Portuguese people preparing themselves for the winter there up in the north?
Yeah. So basically, I grew up, in an environment where much of the family was more, lower middle class, so nothing was really lacking, but there was not like abundance of everything either. And much of the homes from family and friends, tend to be older homes that have several decades old, not the best heat insulation. Some of the windows in a lot of the homes I still go to frequently are only one layer, so there's a lot more coming in. However, even still, like we rarely, if ever, see people even using heaters. Some have a fireplace. Sometimes you can just get one electric heater and that will be enough, or just another, thicker sweater on top. So it's easy. I guess I can say it's easy to go for that. And if it's someone from the outside that wants to buy a home here, if you buy a modern home, you don't even need to think about it. The only problem would be maybe when you go out, right? So if you have to go out in your underwear for whatever reason,
like you do.
in emergency exit, then maybe in the colder days it might be a bit uncomfortable. But yeah, like even the rain, it's even in the winter months, it's not uncommon to suddenly have 1 or 2 sunny days. It allows you to refresh a bit. I don't like the rain very much personally either, but like this year, I don't feel like it rained a lot actually.
Okay. Well, so there's a tip. There's a tip. Don't go out in your underwear for one thing, but look for a home with built of modern standards and the standards you might be expecting. Don't take for granted that it will have double glazing and a high insulation value. And this is where your real estate agent comes in handy. This is somebody who you can brief to look for those sorts of homes. So don't get caught out with that. Basically, Jerry was talking about the girl that lost the sale there. I meant that girl. I mean, that was such a brilliant little scenario. And we do experience this, don't we, when we go into shops? And you're right. You might as well be being served. You'd have a better experience with a machine than you would by somebody who seems disinterested. And I would also say, yes. I mean, she'll have a better work life if she changes. If she has a customer service training session with you, she might enjoy her work more.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. That's one of the reasons why I love real estate. But I'm being pulled so hard to start teaching sales because I do believe the whole of society will be better. Like the clerk that's there, they will feel a lot better because they will be making deals happen. They will be serving people. They'll be seeing happy faces because they sold them a product that they like. And the customers will be better served. Like when you need to buy a vacuum cleaner, right? You go to the electronics store. You get there and you see like 30 or 40 different vacuums. And you're like, I don't know anything about vacuums. If only there was a competent salesperson here to ask me questions about what I need and why.
Yes.
That would be great, right? And maybe you were thinking, okay, so that one's 200, 250. This one is 60. I guess I'll go with the 60 because not knowing anything, this one will cost me less. But maybe if someone talked with you, hey, Carl, let me ask you, do you have pets by any chance? Yes, I do. Actually, I have 3 dogs and they have a lot of fur, blah, 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 blah. Okay, in that case, I have to recommend this 200 euro one. And let me tell you why. This one has a double filter, blah, blah, blah. You won't feel the smell of the vacuum. And whereas the other one, it will clog up every week and it will be a maintenance and then you'll have to trash it. And instead of saving 140 euros, you actually wasted 60.
There you go. There you go. That's what we're talking about here. And when you write your book on these things, you can call it "Who Killed the Sale." That's pretty good, isn't it? Write that down, Vitor. That could be the name of the book that I think you'll inevitably write one day. Thank you, Jerry. Maybe Jerry can do the preface.
Yes.
Okay.
The one I'll write first will be about bad advice.
Oh, okay. Go on. Say more.
I was leaving the anticipation.
Oh, okay. He's not going to say more
no,
about
just
that.
kidding. It's just writing down the note.
He is literally writing that down. Who killed the sale? Amazing.
Yes, that's a very good name. And I'm going to write a book because one thing when I was reborn, let's say, and I started, studying how society itself works, how business works, how money works, investing, serving people. I started thinking about how almost everything of what I'm doing, that in my opinion is way better for me. It's way better for my family. It's way better for anyone I talk to.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing that most of what I'm doing is going directly against most of the conventional wisdom and the advice society gives us, right? And so I want to write a book where I will list out all of the advices that people, give just freely all the time. But that if you think about them a little bit, most of them are contradictory. And also a lot of others actually harm you and will ensure that you will not succeed. And others are actually good advices, but they lack context. And so in themselves, they don't do anything. I'll just say one quick example. For example, read a book, right? It's one thing that since I grew up, everybody says read a book. But there was one thing that was always lacking on that advice, which is the purpose. Because whenever anybody told me read a book, I thought, okay, maybe Harry Potter or Shakespeare or one of these stories.
Yes.
Okay, I guess I can maybe learn something from there, but I don't really see the purpose. However, when I started, getting in real estate, understanding how business works and all that, okay, so I need to know more about, I don't know, real estate investing. So there's a
Yeah.
book about real estate investing, which I can use to help me improve. Oh, I need to learn more about how to talk with people, how to make them feel good. Here's a book for that. You know what I mean? So
Very good.
starting with the purpose, I think the most important thing behind any advice is the purpose. Because
Very
if you
good.
don't have a clear purpose, every advice is pointless.
Excellent advice to us this morning, and we can ask ourselves that. We can ponder on that for a moment. What is our purpose in life? Very good. Thank you, Vitor. That's why we have you here talking about the north of Portugal, but also life insight like that. We're both hidden for a moment by Mark's whopping content here and comments. Living in the north, I think there are two reasons that relocation is not as popular as the south. Winters are colder and wetter, and two, there has been less property development and there is little oversupply of villas, etc. On the other hand, there is some great architecture and history, so short-term tourism can be popular. Braga, as the best voted European destination for 2021, being a very good example. Thank you for that, Mark. All true as far as we're concerned. Louise says there's nothing wrong with cold and damp as long as it's not inside. That's so true. It's very true.
Yeah.
Yes, says Rebel Mama, you need to choose what is most important to you because Portugal is a big place. We love to hike. So the Peneda de Janeiro National Park in the north was the place for us. It's so beautiful there, Rebel
Yes,
Mama.
absolutely.
I think you made a good choice. And Antonio, I'm eavesdropping on this conversation between Antonio and Rebel Mama. Yeah, snow is mostly in the Serra da Estrela. That's a little bit further south, isn't it? In the center of Portugal. It sometimes snows in the northeast as well. And in the northeast, it's very hot in the summer. So you do get a hot winter. Sorry, you do get a hot summer and a very cold winter. And this is a good thing for people who like seasons, isn't it? Because a lot of expats think they want to go where it's always sunny and warm. And something people complain about after a few years is like, I miss the seasons. And so it's worth bearing in mind that you do get that contrast in the north as well. And that's a very good selling point.
Yes. I can give you an example as well. Like
please do.
When I was dealing with Bob and Viv, which they found me through your show as well. So they're coming here from...
Shout out to
Yeah, they're coming here from Colorado, right? And they were also having this concern about the cold and whatever. But like where they were, the temperatures could go at around 40-something centigrade. I don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit. My apologies, but around 40.
Double it plus 30.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah.
I think.
And the lower temperatures would be at around 11 or 13 negative, right? While here, you also have roughly the same high temperatures, but the lowest is usually above zero, as I said. Like it only snowed about 2 times since I was born, and it was like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah. There you go. Nice comparison. Thank you very much for that. And we're still looking at other people's conversations here. But if you will put them in the comments, we will. I'm from Los Angeles and love the heat, but I also lived in Seattle for 20 years. So I'm okay with both. Also, I have friends in the south. There you go. That's my current solution is have at least 2 homes in Portugal. Or share homes, as Rebel Mama's saying here. Make friends with people in the south. You can get down there, get too hot, and then look forward to coming home again. I lived without heating for 10 months now, so surely I can handle Portuguese winters. Yes, there's a boot camp available with Matty. If you want to acclimatise yourself, go and stay for a little while on Matty's sofa, no matter if in north or the south or central. And Rebel Mama adding, we have lived in the far north, Caminha, and now Soajo. She's given it away. She's given away the name of paradise in the north for 7 months, and it's been perfect for us. I think all of Portugal has some place for everyone. Well said. And Andy's just simply saying it's warm in Portugal. Come to Belfast for rain, says Deagle. I took my Portuguese landlady to the villages she grew up in the north. Oh, how lovely. The roads and motorways were great. And she said, this is changing the area and people are returning. That's nice. That gives me a little warm feeling inside. Okay, question for you then, Vitor. We'd like to buy a house in a village near Braga. Do you know of a nice village you can recommend? There we go.
I'd be happy to help. Of course, there are so many great ones there. I live in Ponte de Lima, which in my opinion is one of the best ones. That's why I live here as well. It's the oldest village in the country. It's about 30 minutes by car from Braga. If you take the national road, no tolls or anything, you also have a highway close by if you want. And it will depend on Brian, Cindy. I'm not sure if it's two, if it's one person, but it will depend on what you want, of course. But yeah, it can be a great place. Usually the prices here hover around 1,000 something per square meter. So I actually have a few here. These are from Braga particularly. Let me see.
I wasn't
So
expecting
here's the
this is good service. You've actually found a house already for Brian and Cindy.
Right. So I'm not sure if I find this through the private chat. This
I
was
think you
just
should
like
share the
more of a
screen.
cursory glance, just to
Okay, you
give an idea.
All right, I could do that.
I sent it there.
Yeah.
That is or if you want me to share the screen, I can show a few things. I don't know.
Give it a go. Give it a go. Let's give our friends at Idealista a little bit of publicity this morning. See if you can do that. That'd be interesting. You can do that. While you're finding your way through that, this is a very good comment from Eusebio. You mustn't reduce Portugal to its climate, guys. Yes, it's warmer, but come for the history, the culture, society, nature, people. Absolutely right. A good point of order there, sir. And there you go. I'm adding your screen to the screen right now. So there you go.
Okay. Can everybody see this right?
Loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. So these ones are just, I looked at in Idealista, which is one of the most popular portals here. The way I work is if I have a person who wants to buy a house, I just look at what houses are on the market and I figure out a way of getting them in touch. Like I don't really, I'm not the kind of person who only sells my properties.
Yes.
I want to serve the customer. So if I don't have the listing, I'll go there. So this one has around 90 square meters. I'm going to assume all of the information here is accurate because sometimes it might not be.
Well said. Well said.
So here are two examples. So these two are, 2 bedrooms. This one has about 30 more square meters. And I chose this two because this Braga, and the São Victor, Braga also has a college, a university. So it's a bit of a student city as well, but there's a lot of business and everything going around. This one is slightly also a lower investment because it's on the ground floor, right?
Okay.
So there are also...
Forgive my ignorance. Ground floor properties, what they because of the security or because of the people living above you? Why is it cheaper because it's on the ground floor?
Yes, that is a great question. And when I was in college in Braga, I actually lived in a ground floor for 2 years. And, we never really had any concern, but it's a little bit that matter of privacy, right? You're in your room and people are walking by and they can look in. So you either keep your blinders down or you don't worry much. Usually the ground floor also have like gratings if necessary, to prevent break-ins, so that won't really be a problem. But yeah, as you can see, this, I don't know this one personally. As I said, I just picked one. So you guys are having the same experience I'm having right now.
Looks amazing.
But
so Vitor, T2 will be a 2-bedroom, right? For 121,000.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I should have clarified that. Yeah, here in Portugal, we use the T followed by the number of bedrooms. So T2 means it has a kitchen, a living room, and a bathroom. That's by default, plus 2. And sometimes you see a plus after the T something, like T2 plus 1 or plus 2. And the number after the plus represents like a small office space with no windows.
Okay, very interesting.
So this one, I actually consider this property to be above average in quality.
Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. And I see there on the listing, a ground floor with lift. that's presumably garage included. So I think maybe the lift takes you up. You drive into the garage. It's an amazing thing in
garage.
Portugal.
Yes, here it is.
you have these incredible underground car parks, and that might be what's going on there. You drive down the steepest of little inclines, declines, and then maybe the lift takes you up to the ground floor if you need it. So, I mean, that's a remarkable value. Have you got something to show us from the kind of more luxury end as well, to give us a little bit, or midway, whatever? Where are you going to take us next?
Sure. I also found this one here.
Okay.
So it's a terraced house, also here near Braga. It's a newer construction, as you can see.
Oh, look at that.
And like 300 is a very...
Oh, that's very nice, isn't it?
Comparatively speaking, 300 is a bigger investment here in the north.
Yes. Liking that. We've got a few comments coming in, which is great. Porky Feet, Andy, the most warming part of the north of Portugal is the wonderful people there. There you go. Great. Thank you for sharing that. So true. That's nice, isn't it? And a price reduction by the look of it. A novel presso there. 295.
Yep.
3, and of course that integral James Bond style garage there. Okay. How close are we talking about to Braga then, in terms of people wanting to live a rural or city or intermediate suburb life? What will we be talking about with that particular one?
Okay, let's go to the maps. I think it's easier to have a visual point of reference.
Oh, very good.
So here is Braga, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously, particularly people who don't know Portugal, might not be. So this is Braga. Yeah, this is about.
This is amazing. Property selections and a geography lesson as well. This is fantastic.
Yeah. So here's Braga. Okay, just to give you an idea, like from Braga to here, which is Barcelos.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Where the football comes from. Yes.
Yeah, my hometown. Actually, I come here from Galego Santa Maria, which is the land where the Portuguese rooster was born. It belongs to Barcelos, so it's still Galo Barcelos, but it was here from this small parish there. Right, so Braga, right? You have Braga about 20 kilometers. You're in Barcelos, around 20, 30 minutes. Ponte de Lima, it's slightly farther, but it's also 20-something kilometers. You're also there in about 30 minutes. And so here's Portugal, right? Like you see these three. I have a few pins there, so it's easy to locate.
Oh, yeah.
Vila Real, where I mentioned, is here it is.
With great wine there, great wine producer, yeah.
That's where I went to the other event. So you have Bragança there. Here is Parque do Gerês. So it's very close to Braga and Ponte de Lima. To give people a reference, here is Porto, another very big city. It takes you about 1 hour from Ponte de Lima to there, maybe 40 minutes or 30 from Braga to Porto.
Yeah.
Lisbon is right here in the center. It takes about 4 hours from here to there.
In the car.
And there's the Algarve, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Where everybody lives.
But there is a most amazing train journey to be had, isn't there, from the north to the capital?
Yes. We have great trains, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good value and very comfortable trains as well. And you'll get to see Portugal that way at quite a high speed.
Allow me to just point out one small thing as well.
Please.
So that people make a decision.
Yeah.
If you notice, like the souther you go, the less and less mountainous it becomes. So it becomes flatter.
Indeed. Well said, yeah.
So personally, that is one of the reasons why I prefer the north, because I look outside my window, I see a mountain, I look the other side, I see another mountain, and there's always something to see and something to paint the scenery.
Yes.
Whereas even when I went to Lisbon and we were arriving, everything was flatter, more fields. You don't really see anything, and you don't feel that thing anymore.
Yeah, I get it. No, I get it. The drama of the landscape. I mean, isn't that a funny thing that somebody from the north would arrive in Lisbon and say, "Call these hills What are you talking about? Okay, that's
Yeah.
such a good geography lesson. That's fantastic, Vitor. Let's go to a few of the comments that are being made. Thank you, everybody, for the
Oh,
comments
just one
here.
last thing. I apologize.
You carry on. Don't you worry.
Just a quick bit of information for everything. So here is Serra da Estrela, the part where you
yes.
said that there's snow.
Yeah.
And I know an agent from here, Belmont, that also works this area. He's actually from Remax, not the company I work with, but I get along with him very well. And one advantage is, let's say one of your viewers wants to live here in Portugal and buy here in Portugal, and maybe they are not able to invest 160,000 or whatever. Here,
Sure.
the price of a property is around 500 to 600 per square meter, almost half of what it is here.
Incredible.
So,
Incredible.
and
that's
since Portugal
is
packed, you won't be far away from anything. So, you just drive anywhere and you'll have all of the things you'll need.
Incredible.
Well,
Thank you very much
now.
for that. No, that's because I've got a picture to share now. Thank you very much to Pam for this. Pam sent a number of pictures from the north of Portugal, which we'll have to come back to.
Wow.
I think it's time. But she sent a picture of a cable car, and this is what she's describing as the cable car up to the park Peña Guimarães. Guimarães, we haven't mentioned yet, have we? But another fabulous northern city in Portugal. And let me just put it on the screen for you now. There it is in a cable car there. And that's the sort of drama you're talking about, isn't it? Those mountainous landscapes. And, that looks like a big city. So you can enjoy the country life and get away from it all. But you've got really great developed cities as well there all over the north of Portugal that are well connected, as Louise was saying, by a good infrastructure these days, not just cable cars. Thanks for that, Pam. And we will have more from you, I think, in the coming days. And we'll do a little slideshow of your northern tour, which is fantastic. More comments then. There can be benefits of ground floor apartments. For example, exclusive use of gardens or courtyards and accessibility. If you don't want to be using stairs, if your fitness won't allow it, you might get a bargain, given that they seem to be
and it depends on the area as well.
Yeah, on that lovely, I thought it was a lovely house. Francis is saying the T3 looked like a red flag type of place. Why, Francis? But what are the chances in the north of finding something similar to that, but with a flatlet? I'm not sure if flatlets are a thing there. What does that mean? Like a self-contained bit? The granny flat? Is that what you're talking about? Do you know what a flatlet is, Vitor, or do we need to find out?
That's the first time let's see, a tiny flat apartment.
He'll explain, because other people are asking. What is a flatlet? What is a flatlet? Not Michael Flatlet, so the famous dancer.
Noun. A tiny apartment flat, a suite of rooms usually on one floor of an apartment house.
Yeah, a kind of duplex, I suppose, where you own all of it, and you've got your granny flat, or you could make it an Airbnb or something like that, I think he's saying. So does that sort of thing exist at all in Portugal and up there?
I'm not quite sure. Is it like a... basically a top floor where you have studios on top?
Do you know?
Did I get that?
It might be like, as you sometimes see, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day in Portugal, is the self-contained flat or apartment as part of the building. Now, this is sometimes where the grandparents might live, or it might be where the teenagers / new couple live. As living together but separately. I think that may be what Francis. Let's wait for his answer and see what he has to say about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. What do you think about the towns along the Atlantic north of Porto?
Yes.
Okay. Do you mind if I just share the map one more time?
I'd love you to. Póvoa de Varzim, I think we have a great proponent in Mark Rigby of Póvoa de Varzim, which is, of course, part of the green coast of Portugal. Very important, and again, overlooked, I think. Here we go.
Right, so I'm just taking a look, and funnily enough, I do know them evenly spaced away. So here's Porto, here's Ponte de Lima, and I do know Viana do Castelo, Esposende, and Póvoa de Varzim. Viana do Castelo and Esposende are the ones I know the best.
Yeah.
Póvoa de Varzim is also a very cool city town. They have a casino here. It's also a very well-known place. Esposende is, when I was a kid, we would always come here to go to the beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and now they've renovated this beautifully. You have like, can you see these wooden walks?
The boardwalk. Yeah, the boardwalk.
Yeah, they go basically on top of the ocean from one side to another. You can either go through land or through there. It's really just for the scenery. It's also a very, very nice place. I have a few friends who live here, and I have an apartment which I can already consider a luxury that might be coming here on the market. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but it will be a 4-bedroom.
Yeah.
So if I get the listing, then somebody will be able to buy it.
Yes, excellent. And look, this is another thing worth mentioning. One benefit of Portugal Thursday is that it's a last stop on one of the Porto metro lines, about 30 kilometers from Porto. So how cool is that? You can jump on the metro and go to Porto from Porto Thursday as well. A good day.
I did not know that. Nice.
A beautiful sunny day on Portugal's green coast is a delightful. I mean, you'll remember this from your own childhood, right, Vitor? Sometimes a bit windy, sometimes but when you get a good day, it's just the best thing, isn't it, of a childhood to be in a glorious day like that on the Atlantic coast.
Exactly. And lastly, I have here Viana do Castelo, which I go a lot more to now because Ponta de Lima actually belongs to Viana do Castelo.
Okay.
And you also have a sanctuary here where you're far away in the
look at that
in the highway.
Yeah.
And you can see there the sanctuary.
Oh my word.
You can see it from way below. And when we go to the hospital, because Bianca was born there, my daughter, and you can see very clearly the sanctuary from the hospital.
I didn't realize. I had no idea that Viana do Castelo was so close to the coast. That's beautiful. A lovely discovery.
Yeah, it's right here. It's right here.
Amazing. We
don't really go to the beach much. We went one time, so I don't really know the beaches here.
Yeah.
But there's also this great, where the river ends.
Yes.
And they also have here it is, Giliange, which is I believe it was a medical vessel. Yeah, a hospital ship, and it's now basically a museum. And sometimes you can go there and visit. And
so much to see in Portugal.
Portugal really is an adventure.
we need to apologize. We need to apologize to people, Vitor, because there are people who are looking at Portugal and are thinking, okay, well, I think I might think about could be Lisbon, might be south of Lisbon, could be the Algarve, maybe central Coimbra, I'm not sure. And now we've gone and done this to them today, where they've got to come and have a look at the north as well. Sword.
Daniel Kahneman says it. What you see is all there is. Like if whenever you hear about Portugal, you only hear about Lisbon or Algarve or this or that. Like, why would you consider other places? It's what you know, right?
Yes.
It's what you've been told about. So that's kind of why I'm here as well. Not to to force anybody to come here, live here in the north, but to show how the north is like, and so that if someone thinks that this would be the ideal place for them to live in, then I'm right here to help. If you don't want my help, it's fine. As long as I get you the information that helps you get the right decision, that's great. But if you need help, I'm right here. I also know a very fantastic solicitor that helped a lot with Bob and Viv. And I'll be working with her from now on as well. She lives in Braga. And so, I'm keep building my connections so I can help people. The more people I help, the better I can help the next one.
Yes, so true. And Humberto Gonçalves is here this morning, which is brilliant. I've not seen you before, I don't think. And a few lovely comments. You go there for a couple of weeks to Apulia for a couple of weeks vacation with the kids. And you're also saying, Viana, you have the Praia do Cabedelo, very famous for windsurfing. Yeah, a lot of wind there, I think, from and not that kind of wind that Andy was saying earlier on, not flatlets to flatulence, but the wind for windsurfing there. And Antonio of F, obviously, with a good comment as usual. Did you call it the Giliange?
Giliange, yes.
Giliange was the hospital
ship.
She took part in the cod fishing expeditions in Canada in the middle of the 20th century. Amazing. Lots of lovely history from Antonio F. and Professor Eusebio every morning. I think we have, Jeff Jackson is saying it's looking at all the regions makes it more confusing to choose, yet more exciting to come to Portugal. We have a contextual we have a bigger frame of reference that we'll finish with when we say goodbye to you. But I also need your help with something. Gary's here this morning, and Gary was waiting for us over on Facebook, and I neglected to stream to Facebook. I'm trying to find, Thursday Blues. Thought it was Monday when we transferred. This is from Facebook to only on YouTube. So I have a dissatisfied and unhappy customer. What's the best thing for me to say to him this morning? I do apologize, Gary. What else can I do for him, Vitor?
Well, that is a great question, and that is a sort of a business sin, but
business sin. Oh no, I feel even worse.
I have a friend who's a cop. He'll be visiting you soon, and no, I'm kidding.
Well, for the customer service cops are going to come and visit me. Okay, well, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that would be a great business, the customer service cops.
You've been arrested. We have a warrant here for terrible customer service when you were out in the
oh, man, drive. That would be amazing.
Let's do it. Let's make that little video as a little spoof video. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
I have a load to Gary. What I'll say is, I'm really sorry. My bad, my mistake, and we will be streaming only on Facebook from Monday. And today was a mistake. So the best I can do for you is suggest that you catch up on the, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that you go to YouTube and you can watch the rerun. Somebody complained the other day the live streams are too long. Okay, so I said just watch it in double time. I don't know if that was good customer service or if he just thinks I'm being a smart ass, but we'll find out. We'll find out. It's an ongoing battle on YouTube comments. It really is. Mark Rigby, I have a low tolerance for heat. Living on the coast that means that there are good, cooling, refreshing onshore winds when it is hot in the summer. How lovely! I think Gary Austin is here somewhere. And just finally, then, Vitor, look at this. This is a great note to end on. So you've sung the praises of the North, quite rightly, but look at the country. Top 20 countries in the world, Reader's Choice Awards 2021, according to Condé Nast Traveler. Let's have a look here. It's not number 20. It's not even number 10. It's not in the top. It's not 5 of the top 5. It's not Sri Lanka, Morocco, Japan, or much loved New Zealand. My friends, Portugal, number 1. In the countries. They're voted by the readers of the Condé Nast Traveler. Another award for Portugal. And that could be Morocco, but it's not. I think that's possibly Sintra there, isn't it? And one of the many, many wonderful historical features of Portugal that you can chance
We're
upon.
Also the number 3 safest place to live.
Yeah, isn't that great? So that's fantastic. A great note to end on there. Thank you so much for bringing your passion, your enthusiasm, your insight into the north of Portugal. And the great news is you'll be joining me every 4th Thursday, will you not? To bring back this level of positivity.
Just one more small tip. In regards to that comment about there's so many great places to experience here in Portugal that they don't know where to live, I can suggest this. Find a rental somewhere here in the country, and I can help you anywhere you need. And just travel to different places, spend a few days there, maybe Airbnb or whatever. It's fairly affordable because here in Portugal, like every city, sometimes you just walk 30 minutes and it's a completely different world. Okay.
True.
And
so true.
From north to south, it's about 6 or 8 hours of driving. So find a rental and then explore the country and then figure out where you want to live and then settle.
Look at that. He's absolutely right. And there's a review for you already. That's been great. All right.
Thank you very much, everyone.
We'll see you in a month's time. I have a feeling we'll be hearing from you before that. So reach out to
me. Make sure you give them my number if they need anything.
Well, that would be terrible customer service. How do people get in touch with you, Vitor?
I can send you my number.
Yeah, let's do it. Are you happy to give that out or an email address? What works best for you?
You can use I'll just
email might be better because since I've given out my WhatsApp address live on this show, my life has changed. People use it for Wi-Fi tests and all sorts of things. This is probably the, and don't take that as an idea, anybody. Let's just put this in the comments there. Vitor.Costa at let me put it on the screen for you as well at Nuno of how do I say this? Venceslau?
Nuno Venceslau.
It's
my current mentor. If you go to luxury real estate Portugal.com. I believe
There we
that is correct. Let me just
Yeah.
double check.
Okay, so we're checking this live for you this morning.
Yes.
But while you're doing that, so I'll just say maybe that picture was Mafra, and Mafra, isn't it? Lisbon says Joao F. Great show, thank you. Made all the better by your appearance, absolutely. That's what I've not been doing through house sitting. That's what I have been doing through house sitting. Short rentals are hard to find. And somebody was asking earlier on, you can help with rentals as well, can you, Vitor, in your part of the country?
Yes, sir. And in fact, near Braga in Santa Lucrecia, I know a couple of expats that are going to leave their home. I have been there once. They invited me over for dinner. It has a pool. It is a really old but renovated home made with stone and all of these things. And you still have those little stone benches that are part of the window that you can look out of. That they used to use it in courtship, where the ladies would sit there.
Perfect. And you can have a little kiss through the window.
It's close to Braga, so if anybody needs a rental there,
well, I never.
It's going to be free in December.
Yeah. Okay. Joao F. So that's fantastic. There's going to be a scramble for that one. What about negative temperatures here, Joao? I live in the whereabouts of Mafra, a region rich in mountains, and every winter I experience up to -2 for about a month, mostly in January overnight. So yes, a good level of transparency about the climate there. I can make it up to Gary apparently by buying him a new house. That seems a bit extreme, but I know who to speak to if I want to do that. And Francis, I know Francis was keen to find out which town had the 30-kilometer connection to Porto. Povoa de Varzim is the name of that.
Yes.
And there it is. Someone's come to your aid there, Humberto Gonçalves. Thank you, Humberto. Great to have your comments today. Look up Povoa de Varzim. Red line. There you go. That's even better. We've gone over the 10 o'clock threshold, Vitor. I think we're going to have to leave it there, everybody. Just suffice to say that tonight, healthcare, understanding and using the Portuguese health system. That's going to be a great call tonight with Serenity. Looking forward to talking to them this evening. And we're having a bit of a lock-in with Michael from Serenity after that at 9 o'clock with the Expats Portugal Plan people. So a busy day today. Have a good one, everybody. Vitor, what are you up to today? Showing people houses, going around helping people as usual?
Actually, I'm going to have a meeting with a solicitor. They have a client that needs help in Algarve, so I'll be meeting with her and seeing what I can do to help. I know a bunch of great agents there as well. So
wonderful, man. All right, take care. Bye for now. We'll see you soon. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.